Okay, next phase we're going to be looking at is a subphase in the night interphase, and that is reinforcements. Now both sides get their reinforcements at the same time. You will be using the reinforcement schedule for the full campaign game, even though you're playing the breakout scenario, and you will start from the 7th of June. Now, German units will be placed effectively on a map edge, but because I actually I actually own the expansion, I'll be able to feed them back logically from the starting hex in like a column. But you've just got to remember that when I'm moving from that expansion map, I'll be counting movement points up until I get to the actual entry hex, if that makes any sense to you. You'll see it anyway while I'm doing it. Germans have the ability to delay reinforcements, as do the Allies. If there is a block, an enemy sort of zone of control or an enemy unit on the entry hex, you can move, you can enter the board either side of that entry hex, etc. That's not going to be an issue for ages yet, until the Allies get a lot further into France. Allied reinforcements, they're going to come through the beachhead hexes. If you notice that now everything runs from a beachhead through your queue, your invasion queue, and then landing. So you don't use all these other sort of landing zones because they were for the first day only. There's an exception to that. When you get your mulberries in place, you'll be able to use not only your beachhead, but you'll be able to use the 2 columns running either side to vastly improve your landing reinforcement capability. Now, when you're actually in these hexes, there's a stacking limit of 4 units, but when you hit land, you'll be back to the normal sort of stacking limit, which is different. We'll get onto that later in another video. So what I've got at the moment is all the ones that didn't sort of make it ashore on the first day. They're taking the places at the start of the beachhead columns. Now, what I am doing is I'm playing a rule where you can land during the mechanised movement phase. Both non-mechanised and mechanised units can land during the movement phase. The reason I'm doing that is because if you don't use that rule, historically you're not going to get as many units ashore as you would have done. So this is an optional rule which I think is worth playing. Though I probably won't be using that many of the optional rules. There are rules available for situations where, say, Germans control the landing hex or something like that. But I'm not going to detail them unless it becomes important in the game. It's not at this particular stage. Other things that you're supposed to land, you can pretty much land any order you want, which is a bit odd. I don't think that's a realistic rule, but fair enough. So I can obviously, I'm stacking these in a way that can take advantage of the fact that I'm going to be landing during the mechanised movement phase as well. Other things is you don't even have to land at your designated beach. But you're supposed to land at a beach in your particular alliance, so that Commonwealth troops are supposed to land on Commonwealth beaches and Americans on on American beaches. But even that is not written in tablets of stone. Say the Commonwealth or the Americans lost all their beachheads, you could then land units at a beachhead that belonged to a different faction within the Allies. And that's really it. There's a lot more nuances on this, but I won't be going into it. So it's going to take me quite a while probably to set this up. I don't know how long, because I've no idea how many reinforcements are coming in for either side.